Chapter 2, The Constitution and its Origins, Question Answers. Subject Social Science, Book American Government 3E. Review questions. Question 1. British colonists in North America in the late 17th century were greatly influenced by the political thought of. Answer C. John Locke. Locke's theory of natural rights and the social contract shaped colonial views on life, liberty, and property. Second, the agreement that citizens will consent to be governed so long as government protects their natural rights is called. Answer B. The social contract. This concept, articulated by Locke, holds that legitimate government derives its powers from the consent of the governed. Third, what key tenets of American political thought were influential in the decision to declare independence from Britain? Answer: the colonists embraced Locke's natural rights, life, liberty, and property, and the social contract theory that government must have the consent of the governed. They valued representative government, believing citizens should elect lawmakers, and they drew on English traditions like trial by jury and due process. Finally, the principle of limited government and the rule of law guided their demand for protection of individual freedoms. Fourth, what actions by the British government convinced the colonists that they needed to declare their independence? Answer: a string of measures such as the Proclamation of 1763 barring westward settlement, the Stamp and Townshend Acts imposing direct taxes without local consent, and trials by vice admiralty courts fueled resentment. The stationing of troops in Boston, the Boston Massacre 1770, and the coercive acts punishing Massachusetts deepened the belief that Britain violated colonial rights. Those affronts convinced many that only full independence would secure their liberties. Fifth, what important power did the national government lack under the Articles of Confederation? Answer C. It could not impose taxes. Sixth, in what ways did Shays' Rebellion reveal the weaknesses of the Articles of Confederation? Answer: Shays' Rebellion 1786 to 1787 showed that the Confederation Congress lacked the power to tax, leaving it unable to fund a federal army to quell unrest. States struggled individually to raise troops, and private militias had to intervene. The uprising underscored the central government's impotence in maintaining order, promoting calls for a stronger national framework. Seventh, according to the Great Compromise, how would representation in Congress be apportioned? Answer C. Representation in the House of Representatives would be based on each state's population, and every state would have 2 senators. 8th, how did the delegates to the Constitutional Convention resolve their disagreement regarding slavery? Answer D. It was agreed that 60% of a state's enslaved population would be counted for purposes of both representation and taxation. 9th, what does separation of powers mean? Answer: separation of powers divides the national government into 3 branches: legislative, executive, and judicial, each with distinct functions. Legislatures make laws, the executive enforces them, and courts interpret them. This structure prevents any single branch from exercising unchecked authority and fosters a system of mutual oversight. 10th, why were the Federalist Papers written? Answer: B. To encourage New York to ratify the Constitution. 11th, what argument did Alexander Hamilton use to convince people that it was not dangerous to place power in the hands of one man? Answer: D. Both B and C. He argued that a single executive would act more swiftly in crisis and be easier to check than a large body. 12th, why did so many people oppose ratification of the Constitution, and how was their opposition partially overcome? Answer: opponents feared a strong national government would trample state sovereignty and individual liberties. There was no explicit Bill of Rights. Federalists countered with essays, the Federalist Papers, arguing the new checks and balances system would prevent tyranny and promised to add a Bill of Rights. That assurance persuaded enough delegates to secure ratification. 13. How many states must ratify an amendment before it becomes law? Answer B. 3/4. 14th. What is the Bill of Rights? Answer A. First 10 amendments to the Constitution that protect individual freedoms. 15th. What did the 14th Amendment achieve? Answer. Ratified in 1868, the 14th Amendment granted citizenship to all persons born or naturalized in the United States, including formerly enslaved people. It guaranteed equal protection of the laws and due process at the state level, extending key federal rights nationwide. Next, critical thinking questions. 16th. What core values and beliefs led to the American Revolution and the writing of the Articles of Confederation? How do these values and beliefs affect American politics today? Answer. Colonists held that government must derive from consent, protect natural rights, and operate under the rule of law. They believed in representative legislatures and feared centralized authority. These ideals underlie today's debates over federal versus state power, individual freedoms, and the necessity of checks and balances. The emphasis on limited government continues to shape American political discourse and constitutional interpretation. 17. Was Britain truly depriving colonists of their natural rights? Explain your reasoning. Answer. From the colonial perspective, yes. Direct taxation without local consent violated their right to property. Vice Admiralty courts denied trial by jury, and stationing troops in peacetime infringed on liberty. While Britain saw parliamentary sovereignty as paramount, colonists viewed these actions as breaches of the social contract. Whether truly depends on one's view of imperial authority versus colonial self-governance. 18. Do the Constitution and the Bill of Rights protect the life, liberty, and property of all Americans? Why or why not? Answer. In principle, yes. They enshrine due process, equal protection, and a host of civil liberties. In practice, many groups, enslaved people, women, Native Americans, were initially excluded. Over time, amendments and judicial rulings expanded protections. Ongoing challenges remain, but the framework allows for incremental inclusion and redress. 19th. Was the Bill of Rights a necessary addition to the Constitution? Defend your answer. Answer. Yes. Anti-Federalists demanded explicit enumerations of rights to prevent potential federal overreach. Without it, key liberties, speech, religion, due process, lacked guaranteed protection. The promise and adoption of the first 10 amendments were crucial to securing the Constitution's ratification and establishing trust in the new government's restraint. 20. One of the chief areas of compromise at the Constitutional Convention was the issue of slavery. Should delegates who opposed slavery have been willing to compromise? Why or why not? Answer. This poses a moral dilemma. Compromise enabled the Constitution's adoption and national unity, yet institutionalized a grave injustice. Opponents might argue that sacrificial compromises undermined fundamental natural rights and delayed abolition. Others contend that a viable national charter was essential and that incremental change via later amendments was more pragmatic given regional divisions. 21. Is the federal government too powerful? Should states have more power? If so, what specific powers should states have? Answer. This depends on one's view of efficiency versus local control. Federal power ensures uniform protection of rights and manages national crises, but states often know local needs better. If states were to gain more authority, It might be over education, public health, and intrastate commerce, areas where localized expertise can improve responsiveness and innovation. 22. What new amendments should be added to the Constitution? Why? Answer. Potential amendments could include term limits for Congress, balanced budget requirements, or an equal rights amendment to guarantee gender equality. Others propose clarifying digital privacy rights or refining the electoral college process. Each addresses contemporary challenges, political tenure, fiscal responsibility, social justice, or evolving technologies, and would update the constitution for modern governance. So friends, we have completed all these question answers. From chapter 2, the constitution and its origins, we have already studied the short notes, key terms and summary of this chapter. You can find the link in the description and on the screen. If you like the video, kindly like it and share it with your friends. Also subscribe to my channel. We will meet in the next video. Thank you for watching.